Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to introduce Hertfordshire Chorus's first honorary music patron, my friend Wayne Marshall. Wayne and I have worked together for over 25 years, and he is a world-renowned pianist, organist, and conductor. Welcome, Wayne.
Hi, David. Nice to be here with you again. Nice to see you, actually.
You began very early as a musician. What's your earliest memory of playing the piano?
Well, I was 3 years old, and I come from a very musical family anyway. My parents, they emigrated from Barbados back in 1957, and we settled in Oldham. That's where I was born, and of course, my parents have always been very strong church-going people. So every Sunday we were there. My mother was also playing the piano, and my father sang in the choir. So it was inevitable that we would become musicians. I also have two sisters as well who are also professional musicians. And so this was a very strong part of our upbringing, basically. The church just happened to be right across the street from where we lived. So, it was a focal point every Sunday, getting dressed, going to church, Sunday lunch, Sunday school, maybe evening service. That was the kind of routine, and it was wonderful. So that was it. Yeah, I was three years old, and haven't looked back since.
That is amazing. I mean, Oldham is William Walton territory, isn't it?
Certainly is. Yep. William Walton was born in Oldham, and in fact, if I remember rightly, my first piano teacher had a house actually on the same street where Walton lived.
So you then, when you were a teenager, I think, you went to Chetham's in Manchester, which is a specialist music school. So how did this affect your musical development?
Well, first of all, I was 11 when I went to Chet's. So, this all started because the vicar of my first church, he was actually he was the school governor at my school in Oldham. So he had a lot of strong connections, and, he saw that my musical abilities needed some attention. So I then got an audition to Chetham's School of Music in Manchester, and was accepted and had 8 very happy years there. And then after that went to the Royal College of Music in London, where I was a student for 4 years, and then organist scholar at St George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. So that's basically the journey that I took.
That's one of my absolute favourite buildings in the whole world. Were you by this time specialising in organ rather than piano, or were you doing them both simultaneously?
Both, really. There's no way that I could be an organist if I was not a proficient pianist. So the two really were absolutely very important to me. In a way, my interest in the organ became much more important when I was at the Royal College of Music, and also then at St George's Chapel, Windsor, because in a way I was really contemplating a life of a cathedral organist. And so it was just a question of when and if this would be the case with what I was planning to do at that point.
So at what point did you pick up conducting?
The roots of this were sown at Glyndebourne Opera Company, because in 1986 I went to Glyndebourne as repetiteur for Porgy and Bess, which was being premiered there for the first time, actually. And Simon Rattle was the conductor. And I remember going with my sister Melanie to an audition that she had to do for for the chorus, and they were very, very happy with her, but they were also very happy with me, because the part of Jasbo Brown, the onstage piano player, had not been cast. So I was asked by Simon to just to have a look at the part, and then I was duly accepted. So I then became not only Jasbo Brown, but I was also one of the repetiteurs for the chorus. Obviously, this is my first time working in the operatic field, so it was really fascinating to see a different aspect of how vocal music was being used with opera, because I'd only been used to the Anglican choral tradition by this point. And I remember there was a program which was being made by Granada Television, it's a Manchester-based television company, about me at that time. And I remember Simon Rattle was also interviewed in this documentary, and he was asked whether there was any potential for me as being a conductor. And he said on he said on the interview, he said that I'll give you a bet that in 10 years that this man will be conducting. And of course, I said no chance. I mean, I had no interest in conducting. But anyway, we both had the same management in London, and there was an opportunity a few years after, about I think it's about probably 1992 or something like that. And I was asked to conduct this youth orchestra, the Merton Youth Orchestra in London. Obviously, I had no idea of conducting technique, but I sort of knew in my mind how I wanted these pieces to go. And I remember my manager saying to me at the end of the concert, he said, "Oh yes, yeah, not bad." But he said the only time I really looked like a conductor was during the third movement of the Fifth Symphony of Tchaikovsky, because there, it's all in three, so I had to really keep it all very kind of, But the rest of the time it was all sort of just, whatever. But these are very, very interesting times, and it was fascinating actually. Just thinking of that time with this orchestra, no experience of conducting, and then where things have brought me to today.
We first met in the mid-90s when we did a Porgy and Bess at Kenwood in Hampstead, and we've worked quite a lot together on the piece since then. And we've already talked about your first experience of the work, but it's obviously a work that means an awful lot to you.
In a way, I've been very fortunate because, I've had this Glyndebourne experience and I've conducted several productions of it myself. And it's a piece which has to be taken seriously. Every production is like a new experience. And I never go from, A to B to C to D with the same kind of rules in my head, because every experience has changed my whole approach with this piece. And I could be working with people who maybe don't know the piece as well as I do, or maybe know it better than I do, and there's always something to learn from that.
One of the things that I've learned about Porgy and Bess over the years is that it's 5 or 6 different operas all in one. I mean, there's bits of Puccini in there, and there's a bit of Duke Ellington in there, and he uses the different combinations of instruments. Sometimes it's very sort of sax-led, and other times it's very brass-led, and sometimes he's got a kit drum, and other times it's timpani and standard orchestra. It's an extraordinary work.
There's so many different stylistic aspects to this piece which make it, I think, even more difficult to grasp. And as I said, you just can't go to conduct Porgy and Bess without really understanding what the community was all about, or to the style, all the different jazz styles that are involved in this. I mean, there's even rap in there. There's rap in Porgy and Bess. There's a lot of gospel soul. There's, it's everything. I think a conductor really needs to understand that. And, it's not just the notes on the page. It's about the feeling. And this is the one thing that, as a conductor, I spent a lot of time with the orchestras working on that aspect, because, they can play it, but it's what you do with it that makes it really, lift off the page.
Well, you've made a tremendous mark on the world of music, Wayne. And is there a work that you haven't conducted so far which you'd love to conduct?
Well, I'd love to conduct the Turangalila Symphony of Olivier Messiaen one day. I would really love to conduct that piece. I think that is a masterpiece of, it's just a piece of about the 20th century which makes a statement. I mean, the work is an amazing piece of music, and I love it, and I would just love to have the opportunity to conduct it one day.
So when you worked with Hertfordshire Chorus in Wrocław doing Porgy and Bess in 2019, you seemed to get on very well with the choir. What did you think of the chorus?
I knew it was just going to be amazing. The orchestra was very impressed. The management was very impressed with the chorus. It was just a wonderful coming together of minds, and I just enjoyed it very much. I mean, in a way, the Hertfordshire Chorus is different. It's a very diverse mixture of talents in the choir, and everybody's there for one purpose. They're hungry to learn and to make great music, and I really enjoy that experience every time.
Wayne, it's been really lovely chatting to you, and I'm sure we could have filled a couple of hours of chatting because we've got so much to talk about. But it's been a real pleasure, and I'd like to thank you for joining us and also for being our first Honorary Music Patron. So thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much.